You're about to fund your next real estate deal, and you know that if you choose the wrong financing, you could lose thousands or worse and watch the entire deal collapse. Most investors treat hard money and private money like one's better than the other, but that kind of thinking can cost deals. The truth, both can work, but at completely different times for completely different reasons. And in this video, I'm revealing exactly when to use hard money and when private money makes more sense, and how to make the right call every time so that your deals close fast, clean, and without cash flow headaches. So when is a hard money lender the better option? Hard money is a fantastic option for anybody who has scaled up their operations with systems and processes and now has a full pipeline of deals that are closing and selling and generating money for them to pay for the smaller cost of running those deals that are not paying them money today. In those situations, hard money, the cost of hard money is just a much better option where you can consistently turn out deal after deal after deal. This just makes hard money a much more reliable source for someone to be able to consistently develop that relationship with the lender and then just consistently turn out deal after deal after deal. Having these systems allows you to be able to work with the process that hard money lenders use for their rehab draws, which is a little bit drawn out and requires a little bit more evidence to be able to prove the work that you've done. So when you have your systems and you got your teams, they can pre-plan and have everything lined up, and that is the price that you pay for the cheaper cost of money. The biggest challenge with working with hard money is that the process of approvals takes a fairly decent length of time. Even when it's labeled as fast, it's often still going to be about a 3 to 4 week closing period, depending on your relationship with the hard money lender. The other side of that is your rehab draws are usually going to be, as I mentioned, a little bit longer. It's going to be a little bit more work to prove what was completed, the amount of paperwork that you're going to need to bring to the table to prove what you've completed and what you've paid is a little bit more involved. And so there's more work involved in working with a hard money lender. There's more time involved. And so you really need to have your systems completely dialed in. So like I said, this is a great option for anybody who's got their systems dialed in. So for those of you who don't have your systems dialed in, hard money could be a real challenge for you, given the amount of time it may take you to get a rehab draw, the amount of time it might take you to even get something closed. If you don't have your systems dialed in, the length of time it takes to close, the length of time it takes you to get your rehab draws could be the difference between making good money or ending up in a situation where your deal is now losing you money. Hard money is really more like bank money. It's institutional funding, it is less relationship based, and is going to require that you have the systems of the processes to work with their approvals processes and all of the paperwork that's going to be required there. Versus private money being a far more relational source, less processes that are between you and closing and you and your rehab draw. Now let's switch gears. When would private money lenders outperform hard money? Well, as I mentioned before, hard money is a far more institutional process, lots more paperwork. There's a lot of barriers between the time you apply and the date of funding. Private money is a far more relational process. Less paperwork, less details that need to be covered, oftentimes no appraisal required, and just simply a desktop comp analysis to be able to underwrite the property. Being able to close in days versus weeks could mean the difference between a $10,000 savings and a $100,000 savings. For investors working on multiple projects at once, private money gives them breathing room. How does it give you breathing room? Well, it allows you to be able to keep your liquidity allotted for things that are absolutely necessary to spend on. Rather than spending money once a month on a mortgage for a property that isn't cash flowing for you, private money lenders often will allow you to have deferred payments until the end of the project. Also, hard money requires you to put down 10% almost always, regardless of how well you negotiated that deal. It could be an incredibly deep deal, but you still need to bring 10% because they'll only cover 90% loan to cost. Where private money will often give you up to 100% funding for the purchase and the rehab, as long as you've purchased it at a good deal. So how do private money lenders feel comfortable though funding up to 100% of the deal, even rehab without requiring, monthly payments? Isn't that your skin in the game? What about a down payment? That's part of your skin in the game. Well, that would be correct. That is skin in the game, and that is usually what most lenders are looking for. They need some sort of skin in the game that's locking you into this deal. So the only way that this is going to be a win-win is if you are negotiating deals that are no-brainers, okay? So it needs to be a deal that you've negotiated very well. It's a deep discount. That's kind of the play that you're making here, right? Rapid, fast closings, aggressive cash offers. If you're making a 30-day close offer, your offer is really not competitive with what other people are being able to offer. But if you're making a 7-day close offer, like, hey, I'm going to come in and close this cash, you should be negotiating a great discount for yourself. And if your seller doesn't want that, then you need to go with a different strategy. Maybe it's a creative finance strategy. But if you're going for the cash offer, it needs to be an aggressive offer, and you need to be utilizing the speed that private money gives you to your advantage. And that is what's going to make you a far more competitive borrower in the space of private money lenders. We're going to look at you in a much more positive light, that you were able to get a solid deal. The other thing that's going to make us comfortable lending is seeing that you know your level of experience. If this is your first deal and you are asking us to give you 100% of your funding for the purchase and the rehab, and you've never done a rehab before, but you tell me confidently, I'm sure I can do this, that does not sell me. Imagine this, I'm a former nurse. Imagine I get somebody to sit across from me for an interview, and they're like, yeah, I think I could be a nurse. And I'm like, wait, are you a nurse? Do you have a license? No, but I'm pretty confident I could do this job. It's pretty easy. I would laugh you out of the room, okay? So that's the reality with private money lending as well. If you come to me and you're like, I'm a brand newbie, give me your money and I'll make sure that I make you a lot of money. But I need your money because I don't have my own money. That is not a selling point. So the question you should be asking yourself is not necessarily which one is better, but which one is better for my situation. If I am making an aggressive cash offer, you're probably going to need private money at your disposal to be able to make that offer quick and painless. If you have a routine pipeline and you've got all kinds of liquidity and you're able to float all of those monthly expenses, hard money is a great option for you because it's going to be a cheaper overall rate. Private money, more expensive, but a whole heck of a lot faster and far more powerful when making aggressive offers. And hard money is going to be a lot slower, but also a lot cheaper and a bigger headache. So no, one isn't better than the other. They're just different tools for different jobs. Know when to use each and you'll stop stressing about funding and start focusing on finding the next deal. And if this helped you, check out the next video where I break down how to get 100% funding even on your first deal. And if you're an investor who wants speed, simplicity, and scale without giving up equity or cash flow, click the first link in the description to book a call. And we'll walk you through exactly how our funding model works and see if we're a good fit to help you grow your portfolio. See you in the next video.